tú si no tienes perro para ir contigo a cazar, si tienes un gato, va con el gato, ¿no? Pero solo lo puedes ir.
Hacer demasiada fantasía. Habría que llamar a Harry Potter para preguntarle si es posible.
Se dio esto y el tercer técnico me vuelve a hacer lo mismo. Bueno, pues ojalá esto nos vaya bien con esto que tenemos los mexicanos, que es natural, que no te tiene que dar ningún técnico ni nadie. El salir de la calle todos los días a rompernos la madre.
Bueno, ¿qué les pareció el intro, muchachos? Bueno, Saúl, hoy tenemos un elenco muy grande, ¿no? Muy bonito.
We got an audience.
tres invitados, ¿no? Y todavía faltaron 2 más, ¿no? Entonces, how are you doing, Saúl? How are you doing today?
Doing well, man. Happy to be here. Happy to have these guys join us and have a good discussion here.
Ya, vamos a ver en qué nos metemos. Bueno, ¿los presentamos uno por uno o todos de una vez?
Yeah, one by one is fine.
One by one. Bueno, pues está al lado tuyo. Bueno, I was going to say Vic, pero Álvaro llegó primero. We'll do it by order. Álvaro llegó primero. Álvaro, how we doing?
Bien. You know, chilling. Made me get here an hour early. So, much appreciated. You know.
The Hispanic time, you know, you got to make sure they tell them an hour.
I know, he thought I must have been like Dominican or something. Just be like,
Yeah.
just in case.
Que luego llegamos tarde. Bueno, Vic, ¿cómo estamos?
Bien. Just chilling, man. Just happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Uh-huh. Ya, Raúl, how are you?
Bien. ¿Tú, güey?
Bien, aquí estamos. Muy contento que estén todos. Y todavía faltaron, ¿no? Entonces, ojalá que nos pasemos un momento agradable. Y Saúl, where do you think we should start? Tenemos muchos topics.
Let's get it going, man. I'm good with it. Anywhere to start with, man.
Bueno, muchachos, I know we've covered the topics. I don't know which one you guys feel like we should start con los ídolos, los mundiales.
I think Idolos is...
¿Ídolos? ¿Les parece a
know,
todos?
to break the ice, you know?
All right.
Yeah, I agree.
Since you're the host, I want you to start us off.
Bueno, you want me to say my idol?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Bueno.
Which, by the way, I don't know. I always wondered.
What do you mean?
Saúl thinks he knows. A ver, Saúl, ¿cuál es?
No. Memo Ochoa.
Bien.
No,
Yo, Bautista, what are you talking about?
are you talking about El Bofo?
Yeah?
No, es que what happened was cuando yo estaba creciendo, pues en mi casa veían puro fútbol mexicano. So that was what I was watching. Y la selección mexicana. So I really didn't get to watch Europe a lot when I was growing up. Y más porque yo creo que todavía no llegaban esos canales todavía. So obviously my first idol, y más por mi posición, Rafa Márquez. That was my first idol.
That's a good choice. Good choice.
A
Barca man, got it.
Y and yeah, that was my idol. And ya después me di cuenta que más o menos, not to his level, pero sí tenía más o menos el pase and los pases de larga distancia. But yeah, that was my idol.
Good choice, good choice.
No sé, ¿cuáles eran los idols de ustedes?
Yeah, we could start off with Alvaro or Victor, one or the other.
I'll go.
All right.
I guess I had a different experience than Luis because I didn't watch a lot of the Mexican soccer growing up. A little bit about me. I started playing soccer when I was 13, and I think that's really when I started watching it, when I started in high school, but never really thought of soccer as like something as a ambition or a hobby, right? But my idol, you know, it was Ronaldinho. I think as I watched him play, his style of play is just like anything I had ever seen before. You know, the things that he did in the pitch, just, you know, you weren't seeing it from other players at that time. And my dad was still is a Barcelona fan. So he would just grab me and look, that's how you do it, you know. And you know,
De,
for me,
de Ronaldinho, de Ronaldinho, ¿en qué momento? What part of his career did you like him? When he was in Barcelona?
Yeah, when he was in Barcelona. So I never watched him in PSG or, you know, prior to that in Brazil. So, but yeah, no, you know, that's one of the things that the stuff that he did with the ball has just kind of mesmerized me. And then I just went from there. I was just like, I want to do the exact same thing that he does. Even if it was ball hugging. It didn't help me, by the way, and so knows it was just bad.
We're good there. Yeah, Victor, man, what's yours?
Well, kind of a similar story to Alvaro. Again, I started watching soccer same age, 13, and back then, like I didn't know anything about soccer. You know, my father, he's a big Real Madrid fan. You know, my brother, big Barcelona fan. His idol is Ronaldinho too. But for me, I don't know. Like I never really took an interest into it. I would see them watching it, and I was like, you know, really, I have no interest in it. So when I turned 13, I don't know what it was, but I played like just a pickup game with them, and I ended up liking it a lot, and I started falling in love with the sport, and then I started like watching it. And the first game I watched was I don't remember who they played, but it was Manchester United. It was back in 2008. So for me, my idol was Cristiano Ronaldo.
Had a feeling on that.
Yeah.
No bias
2008.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. I started watching like halfway through that season, and I just started watching him tear it up. I think that was his best season in Manchester United, no?
Yeah,
2008.
towards the
Yeah.
end.
That was when he was playing right mid, no?
He started playing almost like
wing.
but he almost like
Left.
un enganche, that fake enganche thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
Is that the season? Is that the season where he had that long distance shot from like half field?
Yeah.
Yep. The free kick against Arsenal. Yeah. 2008. At that time, I think it was an incredible season. I think about 42, 43 goals, no?
Something around
like
there.
that.
Yeah.
And
after that point, that was a big feature up to that point.
And then everyone's like, "Who's Beckham?"
Yeah, sure.
Bueno,
Took over.
last but not least, Raúl.
Voy a empezar a ver fútbol desde muy chico, desde que me acuerdo, pero también fútbol mexicano, igual que Beto. Ídolo, aunque no lo voy a Cruz Azul, me encantaba cómo jugaba el Chelito Delgado. Ese Cruz Azul del 2005, 2006. Y mi ídolo viene, yo creo que del equipo que le voy, Tigres, yo creo que va a ser Lucas Lobos.
Okay.
Lucas Lobos, sí.
Una foto de él.
Ahí está. Fue el que llegó a levantar ese equipo.
¿Cuánto duró Lobos en Tigres?
2009 llegó hasta el 2016. 6 años más o menos, 6, 7 años.
¿Llegó a ser campeón 2 veces?
No, nada más una, sí. Pero fue el que llegó a cambiar levantó a Tigres del descenso.
¿Tú que lo viste más? Que yo lo veía nada más cuando vacunaba a Ochoa o a la América, pero tú que lo viste más, ¿cómo era su estilo de juego? ¿Era más armador o era gambeteador así como el Ronaldinho?
Yo creo que tenía de los dos, pero era más gambetero. Era muy gambetero. Y hubo un tiempo que sí la sufrió antes de que llegara Mancilla, porque casi se echaba el equipo al hombro. No tenía quien pasarla, no tenía ese delantero que le rematara sus pases. Pero sí, Lucas Lobos. Y de Europa, pues yo diría que Andrés Iniesta.
Let me see.
You couldn't pick a better photo. Jesus.
I'm sorry, Alvaro. You need me to put
a
filter on him?
That was like the day before he retired, guy.
Get some hair on him.
That's the best version of him. What are you talking about?
That's him coaching, guy.
I think we're all curious to see who's Saul's idol, no?
Bueno.
Yeah, so for me it's a little weird because I never found myself.
Bro.
Of course, Goats is number one. No, I found myself a little in a weird spot because I never found myself to be a forward, but I never found myself to be a midfielder. At least me playing up. So I was always in that in between. Um, so obviously I'm gonna throw out just names, but like I always like how Adriano from Brazil used to play. I love how Ronaldinho used to play. Ronaldinho, I think, impacted me because of the fact that he had a form of playing that is just alegre, and I think that this is something we're quote unquote missing now in today's soccer. It's just like the fun part of it, or la gambeta, or whatever the case may be. Like ese fútbol alegre. I think everybody's so systematic nowadays that nobody lets you have freedom, and he broke that, and now we're kind of back into that mind frame again. So until someone else comes like along like him, I think it's gonna change. But my main other idol has to be Xavi. Just his passes, his opening of spaces, and everything like that. Xavi's definitely my number one.
Pero with this one, yo siempre hago la pregunta. You discovered Xavi cuando jugaba con Rijkaard as coach, o cuando ya empezó Guardiola?
Both, but more Guardiola. Guardiola's idea obviously fit him better.
Yeah.
And obviously did what he did, and it exposed a lot. Well, it pretty much worked with his system, especially with having Busquets as a center defensive mid that backed up his idea of play, especially at that time.
Lo dejaba libre.
Lo dejaba libre, right? You're not tracking back as much. You're just building and looking to see what else you can build with. So I think that's where I saw more of him.
So I think la pregunta for Saul is, ¿y tu ídolo mexicano?
Damn. That hurts.
Yeah, you're like caught right in the middle, you know.
So for me, like as much as he's a one-dimensional player, I always used to be like, yo, we gotta look for Burgetti. Like, who else did you look for, right? You're like he's a forward that just he never used to tocarte un balón, aguantarte una pared or nothing.
Chicharito no.
You know what? To
That's
tell you
the
the truth,
goat.
like for me, I've never, it's you live your moments, and I think that Chicharito had the right moments at the right times every single time. And I think I never really said like él tomó sus oportunidades para seguir creciendo, but I never that you're gonna sit here and say he's one of the best soccer players in Mexican history. I don't think so.
Bueno,
that's my criticism.
Jugó con Cristiano Ronaldo in Real Madrid.
What do you mean? He did better than him. I know. Yeah, I think that he was playing one of those seasons where like he was just lo que él tocaba en gol. So.
Bueno, so ya que dijimos casi.
United.
What was that, Vic?
He played with Man U too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I know we said ya todos dijimos nuestros ídolos, and my question here is, yo lo quería hacer porque, or at least I notice now, maybe the kids that are younger than us, they have their own idols. Maybe it's Mbappé or Haaland or Sancho.
Bale.
Neymar.
But yeah, I think que ahorita los ídolos que nosotros nombramos were idols mostly for everyone, y ahora como que no hay. So then my question would be, ¿qué era lo que los hacía ídolos? I don't know, whoever wants to answer.
I guess I think like when it comes to like Ronaldinho, it was just that pizzazz that he brought in, you know. To be honest, I don't think there was really nothing like him at that point in time, specifically when he came into Barcelona, and their style of play was just dead, you know. And you can tell like los aficionados, like when you looked at that stadium, when he would do things like I recall one of his goals was against in the Bernabeu, and he took that left flank and then took Ramos and scored, and you saw the whole Bernabeu just like
aplaudieron.
Yeah, aplaudiendo. And you're like, yo, that's and I think the only other place that I really kind of saw that very recently was when Cristiano Ronaldo scored that that goal at Chilena against Juventus, and Juventus just went nuts, right? So I think that those are the reasons why they have the type of impact that they have, not only for the team, but you know, he did achieve a lot, right? You know, when you look at Ronaldinho, when it comes to club, when it comes into being an individual, when it comes to what he did in Brazil, for soccer players that really, you know, when it comes to being at the top, I don't think you could do that for a very long time, and he did it very well for the amount of years that he was there. You know, because I can clearly tell, you know, from the ages from 13 to 18, like I was dialed in into everything that he was doing.
Raúl.
Que los ídolos, pues sí, bueno, lo de Ronaldinho sí me acuerdo, pero bueno, Ronaldinho también siento que es una excepción porque es un jugador que nadie odia, o sea, no lo puedes odiar, esa manera tan alegre de jugar. Pues sí, básicamente lo que dijo Álvaro, pero sí, para ser ídolo, pues depende, también depende tu equipo, ah, depende de la actitud del jugador. Hoy también siento que no hay muchos ídolos porque creo que como con todas las redes sociales, el jugador estás conectado con él 24/7. Si hace algo malo, si hace algo bueno. Entonces, siento que eso también te quita un poco de esa magia que te dan en la cancha. Por eso siento que no hay tanto ahora.
Victor.
Well, I think like the difference between, you know, us growing up and watching soccer and now, you know, it's similar to how Raul said, like the social media, all that stuff. I feel like before, you know, you had technically good players, like great players, players who really, really love the game. Like they took that to heart and they played their heart out, you know, like Ronaldinho, you know. Nowadays, I feel like it's like a popularity contest more than it is the game.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Saludos a Neymar. Vic's calling you out.
I am calling Neymar out. He's a flair player, you know. Look at these
Well,
players. They're flair players.
Saúl ahí viene. ¿Qué pasó, Saúl?
Bueno,
no,
Neymar pudo haber sido el mejor.
yo, I think
Yeah.
that's something we can agree on, right? Like, yo creo que hasta ahorita, like, I think that popularity part of it, like, que estamos hablando, el otro día había un comentario que él decía, ya me quiero retirar porque I'd rather do streaming than to play soccer. So, like, o sea, nomás ese comentario, like, you're basically saying, like, oh, I have the people already, they watch me play FIFA, and I much rather, like, let them see me over a camera than to sit me and go see me at a stadium. So, yes, I think they're buying into the fame. Like, he could have been one of the greats, but I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think just to wrap it up for this one, I think lo que hacía ídolos antes era esa, voy a jugar por un club y un club nomás. Esa es otra
Sí.
parte. Hacían la historia completamente con un club, crecían en el club, triunfaban con un club o no, y de ahí se retiraban. I think esa es una cosa que ya ha cambiado mucho el aspecto. That's just one thing. You're writing a whole story for someone, and I think siguiendo esa historia, tú creciendo con alguien, a par de ellos, you're gonna be like, damn, yo lo vi crecer, yo lo vi bien, yo lo vi cuando estaba un chico y ahora salió campeón. I think that you live those stories with those players, and that's something you don't see that nowadays anymore. You're like, oh, va de allá para acá, y cambian acá y lo prestaron acá, and then you never know what the hell happened to him hasta que ya mete un gol en la Champions League. Be like, oh shit, ¿dónde anda?
Yeah, yo creo que todos dijeron un punto que todos se conectan, ¿no? Álvaro dijo que el jugador disfrutaba el partido, disfrutaba el fútbol, y ahora se ve que a veces los jugadores no están disfrutando, y I don't know si eso tiene que ver me imagino que tiene que ver con el calendario, that they're playing every 3 days mostly.
También juegan mucho.
Lo que dijo Raúl, ¿no? Que estamos ya conectados. Mostly, casi ya todos tienen social media. Hay uno que otro que no. And that takes away the magic, ¿no? Lo estás viendo todos los días, pues ya deja quizá de ser tu ídolo, porque ya lo ves como una persona normal, ¿no? And then, what Vic said, ¿no? Que los jugadores, pues, ¿no? Se apegan a la social media y they're just not enjoying it anymore, ¿no? I think que lo que los hacía ídolos venían con una mentalidad de que era un trabajo, and that they needed to put on a show para los fans que estaban viendo. Y yo siento que ahora los jugadores lo ven like como que tienen que ir obligados a jugar and that's it. O sea, que no les importa de verdad that the fans are watching. That's what I think.
Pues sí, porque
Pero
antes hasta se disculpaban de que perdían y eso, y ahora se hacen las divas ahí diciendo que no los critiquen y todo eso. Ahí está Héctor Herrera y Memo Ochoa quejándose de la afición.
it's just, I mean, we all grew up. Bueno, who's the oldest? Alvaro here's the oldest. Alvaro, you're the oldest.
Yeah,
Possibly, yeah.
probably. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Álvaro y luego Raúl, Vic and Saúl, ¿no?
You're
ahí.
older than both me and Vic.
Yeah, so es Álvaro, Raúl, yo. Es que we all grew up viendo Zidane, no sé, los Galácticos, todos esos jugadores.
El Ronaldo, el primer Ronaldo.
El primer
fenómeno
Ronaldo,
Ronaldo.
yeah. Bro, for real.
Bro,
Yeah, exactly.
Ese tenía más equipos que. Uf,
Ese corte.
ese jugaba solo.
Yo, for real.
Barcelona, Real Madrid, Inter, Milán. Damn.
Pero
Ronaldo.
my question was
¿Quién no
going
jugó?
towards that, porque
Rivaldo.
antes había un montón de jugadores así, ¿no? Y ahora es uno que otro. A ver, un jugador que
Gattuso.
sea como Gattuso ahora. No hay.
No hay.
Ah, bueno.
¿Quién
Bueno.
dijo? ¿Quién?
What did he say?
I'm just kidding. I just want to.
Casemiro? Oh, yeah.
Klose.
Yep.
Left close.
Close,
Jugadores así. Gautemo.
Bueno, es que
Mexican, no la hizo tanto.
había líderes. Ahora no hay tanto líder.
Yeah.
I mean, you can even add, you can add Lam, you can add Puyol. I think the
Puyol, I
captain-
think Puyol is just like a legend, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Pretty boy David Beckham.
All right.
Bueno, que no
David
no hizo
Beckham,
nada.
David
Giggs,
Beckham tuvo sus momentos. We'll put it down.
Giggs, Lampard, John Terry.
Oh, esa era mi pregunta more towards. ¿Por qué no? O sea, era un abastecimiento de jugadores así. Like, all those players nos tocó a nosotros, grew up with. Y ahora, ¿cuántos jugadores hay that you can say que tienen ese liderazgo or that mostly, like, por ejemplo, te lo voy a poner, 2 players de 10 partidos jugaban 8 buenos y te daban 2 malos. Y se sentían, tú veías en su cara que se sentían mal por dar esos 2 partidos. Ahora ves a Neymar, a Mbappé, a Haaland, quien tú quieras, and they do a bad game, and they're like, oh, me estás criticando. I can't play good every game.
I think that, we're just, I think that first and foremost, it comes down to the amount of games that they're playing, and then second is the don't criticize me movement kind of thing, where like, or like they feel like it's mental health at this point, like they're easily broken. And I think the other aspect of it is mucha gente en los estadios, en vez de alentarlos como estaban haciendo antes, muchos lo están abuchando y siendo el mismo equipo. You know, and I think that's another mentality we're changing too as well. Like, you go to the stadium and they're like, yo, fuck you, or you suck, or whatever. O sea, el jugador nunca te va a responder, di que pues en esa manera. And I don't think that we saw it. You would hear cantos in the stadiums. You would be like, let's go, regardless of your team losing. I think that's changed as well. So, in a sense, hay que ver cómo ha cambiado the crowd in itself.
Yeah. So that ties back into one of our other topics, Louis, So it's like comparing soccer, how it used to be.
You want to jump into that one?
Yeah, because I mean that was a pretty good segue, to be honest. And I think like how Vic was saying, just social media overall is just crazy right now,
Yeah, tiene mucho que ver.
You have Cristiano Ronaldo, dude, 400 million followers, and this guy has made a business out of it. Like, it's from massaging machines and what is it, like sports drinks and owning hotels, and you know what I'm saying? It's just like
He makes more money off of third parties than
I think one Instagram post is how much? Do you guys know that?
What?
How much he makes off one
50 mil?
Instagram post?
Like 50 mil?
Yeah, he makes a good amount of money just for one post. That's why he doesn't post much.
And not only soccer players or athletes, that's singers and actores and everything, they're saying that they make more money off their couch putting an Instagram post or a social media post than their actual job.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right,
if they
and
even
then
have one at that point.
Advertisement, man. Advertising goes a long way.
Social media, it's the power of social media.
right. So
It's a
I
big
think that's one
player.
of the
So,
biggest thing is just that social media part of it all.
mhm.
You know, I don't think that there was like, I think if you would have social media back in the day, I think it might have killed that type of football that we love so much. Uh, because we learned after the fact things about our players. Like now, right? For example, we knew Ronaldinho was like
Into
out of the
parties.
field,
Llegaba
right?
crudo.
And then you know
Llegaba
what I'm saying?
crudo.
Crudo.
You know what I'm saying? And like, what would have done that to us, as a 13-year-old, 18-year-old, just,
But you think
you know,
knowing, like, tú te imaginas a Zidane maybe putting on social media, go like my post or something? Like, I don't think those jugadores se hubieran
I
prestado
I
kind
para
of,
don't
yeah,
think
eso.
like I
so.
said, I kind of disagree with Alvaro a little bit on that reason. It's just like if we would have social media, let's say 10 years before it became big, say
Yeah.
in 2004, 2005, we would have had the Facebooks and Twitters that we have now, right? The players that were playing back then, like, I feel like, I think a lot of the reasons too why we forget about before and now is that before a lot of these players are on like the similar playing level kind of thing, like, or if they're not similar in skills, they're similar in like leadership. These guys all love this game,
the
and
mentality
the
of it all.
mentality of these guys, they're more mature than players nowadays. So they take the love for their sport seriously, and whether they would have been social media or not, I feel like they still would have had that because they're still
Yeah.
part of the organization. I think it made it even more, to be honest, if they would have had social media to show how much they really love this player. Look at a player like Dani Alves, who came back to Barcelona this year, and like look how much like recognition he's getting for doing that. And this is a player that played now in both eras pretty much. He played in that era, and now he's playing again in this era. And the love and respect he still has for that same team, it's incredible.
Y si le
And
están
that's something that,
pagando.
and that's he's not even paying. He's not getting paid. That's the thing. Like that's
I
the
think
thing.
so.
That's the difference. That also you gotta take that into account.
Yeah,
That's the
that.
difference between players back then and players now. Because you think in 20 years Mbappe is gonna go back to PSG and do it for pennies,
Mm-mm.
the way Dani Alves is doing. Like you don't. Or now you PSG. You started in Monaco.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like these players we're talking about before, they had love for their game. They had love for their team, love for the sport in general. Players nowadays, you don't get that too much. You don't see it too often.
And so I got a question for Saul. I'd like to get his opinion on this. So do you think, like, as a player like a Dani Alves, and you go back to this Barcelona and you have these kids, right, pretty much half your age, and social media is now involved, how do you think they react, and how do you think they come in as that leadership role? Because I feel like there are players out there that that are trying to take on that role, but I don't think the other players take him as serious. Manchester
I
United, it's like one that comes to my head, right? So
When
Right.
Ronaldo,
So yeah, Ronaldo. Yeah. No. So I think that the issue here comes down, and I think that I was talking to Beto with this offline as well before, and I've talked about it with even just not soccer, but just overall in general sports. They're pulling youngsters in early, and then there is no guidance with the club first and foremost. I think that anybody who's young coming in needs a sponsor or a personal coach or whatever the case may be, or are getting basically that babysits them. And I think that needs to happen. Whether I'm not saying like it's a parent, it's something, but like the issue here is that we're having the kids break themselves too early in their career because they don't know how to take care of themselves, which is comes to the Ronaldo aspect there. You know how to take care of yourself, diet, exercise, got to do all that stuff. Or then you have the other aspect of it where they either go out partying too much, get fucked up, and then they ruin their career for killing someone. That's the other aspect of it. And then we've seen it already in sports. So when you have a role model, be like they can get that from Dani Alves to be like, hey, like what did you do? how did you become better? What did you analyze of the other person? Or you can even see on a day-to-day basis how they train or what they train or what they look for from one match to another. So it could definitely be a better role model. I just don't know that they need a veteran player to do that. Sometimes it just takes the club to really bring that idea to them rather than just a veteran player.
Raúl.
Ah, bueno, con los jóvenes pasa mucho en México, bueno, creo que en todo el mundo, pero ahí sí yo le echo también la culpa ahora cómo se gana en las redes sociales. Antes los jugadores tenían que picar piedra, tienen la historia, todavía la de Edson Álvarez, ¿no? Que iba todavía ya era jugar a la América y viajaba en microbús.
Ujú.
Está la historia de Cuau, que una señora le regaló unos tachones para poder jugar. Y ahora tiene estos jugadores de 17, 18 años, ya tienen la palomita en Twitter, en Instagram,
Ya la
hacen
hicieron.
streaming, hacen streaming toda la noche, no se cuidan, como dice Saúl, toma sacrificio, o sea, no nada más es llegar, y lo vemos con jugadores, ¿cuántas veces hemos escuchado el nuevo Ronaldo, el nuevo Messi, el Messi mexicano, o sea, y quedan ahí en promesas? Pero creo que sí, tiene mucho que ver las distracciones. Yo sí creo en tener jugadores veteranos que los guíen. Hay buenas historias, está como la de en Francia, la de Thuram con Henry, que el papá de Henry le pidió de favor a Thuram que lo guiara y lo guió. Y ven lo que se convirtió en Henry. Lo tiene historias como la de Ronaldinho con Gio, que lo guió pero a la fiesta.
No way.
Damn.
Pero sí, o sea, siento que los jugadores veteranos, ahora, eso es otra cosa, no escuchan. Va a haber jugadores que no van a escuchar. Ahí está el Manchester United con Ronaldo, ya de veterano, y cuántos problemas tiene con la nueva generación que no ha ganado nada y todo lo que se creen.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree con Saúl un poquito en lo que dijo. No puede ser, Saúl, que me estás diciendo que necesitan un babysitter. No es de ahora, apenas que llegan jóvenes. Llegaban.
I'm
But
gonna
like I
disagree
said-
with Lewis just a little
But
bit.
what you're saying, you're
Saúl,
saying it,
el
you're saying
fútbol,
it
el fútbol no nació ahorita.
right. Again,
Guardiola
we're going,
llegó a Barcelona de 12 años.
we're going from what it was before to what it is now.
Llegaban
Now
jóvenes también.
pero no tenían los accesos and the social media and the money behind them, which is different. So antes con que if you were signed young, you weren't getting millions of dollars. Te pagaban 1,000
True.
para empezar y te daban un contrato si nomás la rompías. And now they're giving them $1,000 porque son prospects.
Right.
And that's the issue.
Yeah, ahí también, pero también es culpa de los clubes.
Right,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Pero
Yeah.
ahí es donde vamos a ir a financial fair play, que cuánto van a pagar por un jugador, ahora que a qué años pueden hablar con ellos y cómo los contratos se están rompiendo, se están escribiendo de un papel de napkin diciendo que tú no puedes hablar con otro club a los 16 años. Like, you're talking about a lot of things.
Yeah, I think
But-
was it Holland that was just like, yo, I don't want to look for a transfer because if it's gonna be like $130 million, like I don't want that type of pressure. Like I don't want to leave
No, I
because
don't
of the
know.
money. Because
I
like they're
don't
overpaying
know.
me, and I was like, why would I
Pero-
want that type of pressure?
Al principio, so basically the reason why, so Holland sin nombre, Bruce Dortmund was like, oh, yo te voy a comprar and it doesn't matter because we see potential in you and we just want you to come over. And he was like, well, yo no quiero que me paguen mucho originally. And then he said, well, it doesn't matter con que I play for you guys, that's all I care about. So yes, and now in the aspect, he feels like he owes the club a lot because I think that they paid no more than 20 million for him. I think they paid maybe 12. And now he's obviously worth 150, whatever million. And now everybody's like, oh, yo quiero pagar por él, but he feels like in debt. So it's a good way of seeing it, but at the same time, we don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, no. Money definitely killed the game a bit in a lot of ways. You know, look at most of our clubs. Forget about the idols right now. Think about the clubs that we love. They're not longer sporting institutions as much as they're more business now.
Mhm.
I'd
Private
say
entities.
right now, Real Madrid, that's probably one of the biggest businesses in world football, in soccer. You know, look what they're doing. Like, you know, look how they make it. And everyone praises Florentino Perez sometimes about because he's the business guy, and you know he converted that Real Madrid to a business team. You know, these players that we're talking about, they're no longer. There's no love for the game. It's like it
That's what it
died a
is.
long time ago. It died a long time ago, and everything became about money. You know, because look about what they try to start the Super League. You know, with all these superstar clubs because they why the main purpose, the driven was behind that was not because they don't care about showing the fans. You know, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, or
Puro dinero.
Barcelona versus Man City. It's money. It's money. There's more money to be made in there than it was in the Champions League, and that's why there was such a big push for this UEFA Super League, not the UEFA Super League. So it's a lot of like money that's killed the game. You know, it took the joy out of the sport. It's just kind of just another business. You know, it's like to these players we're talking about, they're just pawns into a bigger thing. A player is no longer measured on how good he is. It's measured how much you can make off of him. How much of those shirt sales are gonna make. That's a bigger measure than how good he is or how much he fits your team. Because you know, the Galacticos, the first Galacticos, they can be considered a failure. They didn't really do that much.
They didn't win anything really.
They didn't really do anything.
Una liga, ¿no?
They made bank. They made a lot of money off of those players. You know, so that's like the way you gotta look at it. Beckham.
I think that
you know,
well, even to back you up a little bit more on that one, you're gonna talk about what's his goalie's name? Wow, why am I forgetting his name? Keylor Navas. You know, they're talking about es un jugador que es muy bueno, but they never consider him the best all the time because he's from a South American team basically or a North American team, whatever.
it's not even that place from.
Yeah,
it's the marketing. How can you market him?
but that's the thing. Like, you can't market that area, or you can't say like, oh, he's gonna have 1 million fans either. Like a Brazilian that would have been that good as he is, they would have been marketing the crap out of him, you know. And now you're talking about Courtois. Courtois, he has fans behind him, but I mean,
To be fair though, Courtois was a good goalie too before he went Madrid. You know,
before he went
before he went to Madrid.
Ya
O sea que
antes de
ahorita
eso,
no. O sea que
No,
ahorita
but
no.
like now, like you know, he had a rough start. He's one of those players that he had a rough start. You know, that transition. But you already had Keylor Navas that was killing it,
Yeah.
and now you're talking about you benched your player that was killing it, like the one that was doing a good. You know, he had a good form. You bench him for the reason because you paid this much money. You know, that's the thing about Real Madrid. A lot of people don't like Real Madrid for this reason. Is that they don't care in idols. Like what they did to Iker Casillas. Like what they did
Ronaldo.
to
Ronaldo.
Even look what they did to Ramos. You know, look what they did to Raúl.
Wow.
Look at these idols that bled and love this team, and they kick him out the back door because you know what? Your used product, your worth is no longer worth having you on the team.
Bro, that's when I think not too long ago salió el audio de Florentino Perez talking a lot of crap out of all those players, no?
De
A lot
Ronaldo,
of the
¿no?
reasons
Sobre
why these
todo.
players leave. A lot of the reasons why they leave is because they don't feel like they're being supported, and that's true because they no longer. That's why Cristiano Ronaldo left to Juventus because there was talk that he was supposed to renew his contract. He wanted to. The interest was there. Same thing with Ramos. The interest was there. But at the end of the day, Real Madrid has a certain agenda and a certain way of handling these kinds of situations. And any player over 30 is not allowed to have a contract extension of more than 1 year.
Yeah.
And that's automatic. Doesn't matter who you are. And they didn't. No one wants that. No one wants that uncertainty. Benzema's probably gonna get the next one. Modric is signing an extension too, and like look at Modric right now for this team.
Yeah, I think he has a year by year. I think it's so
he
far.
has a year, but every player. But I'm just saying, like every year is like this. It's always like this with Real Madrid now. It's like they don't care how much you're worth to the team. They'll kick you to the curb if someone like Mbappé can come to the team.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna do the same thing. Like they did it to Ronaldo. They're gonna do it to. They're gonna do the Bale, Hazard. All these players, they're not making any money. Who push you to the side, and then the next shiny thing is Mbappé, Haaland. Like that's the main goal for Madrid right now.
Say it, Beto. Say it. What does Jorge say?
What?
Jorge Ramos. What does he say?
¿Qué dice?
Que Real Madrid compra la felicidad.
Bueno, I can't say porque el América también hace lo mismo casi acá.
Well, I know.
So,
You're just running out of money. Tigres and Monterrey are holding all of it.
Bueno, pues
well,
tienen las compañías grandes.
So Beth, I got one for you because I know that this one's dear close to your heart, right? So you think like managers now, right? You know, dealing with this new pressure of social media, do you think that, oh yeah, I think he was the one that was saying, right? Like he's you know, babysitting boys now because oof, Jesus Lord. All right, take it away, Luis. You know what the question was going to be. So
what is it?
Yeah, like do you think it's a different you know, how managers used to manage players before compared to now in the soccer?
Sí, that's a very good question. Bueno, I feel like I can talk about it. No sé de verdad what do they do on a daily basis, how they coach and whatever. Me da una idea, pero I'm just gonna say how I feel about it. Sí, porque el Mourinho said it. I used to coach men. They were men at 23 years old y ahora son niños at 23 years old y actúan como niños. Entonces, como dijo Saúl, tienes que ser su niñera casi, take them by the hand y decirle, mijito, Mbappé, muévete por acá, muévete acá, no sé, ahorita Modric te la va a pasar acá. Y antes el jugador solo ya sabía dónde moverse sin que tanto le dijeras. You would just tell him maybe uno que otro detallito and the player would be like, you're right, I gotta move over here, Solito el jugador daba, ¿no? Y se manejaba casi solo. Ahora y lo dice la Volpe también, que te llega el jugador a primera división y no sabe muy bien qué hacer o cómo hacer una cobertura, cómo defender, cómo posicionarse to dribble on a one-on-one. No saben, ya llegan a primera división, basically playing like if they were playing at the amateur level that we're playing. And it's like, and then that's why we get ideas watching them saying, we can play better than them. What are they doing? What are they doing there? ¿No? Entonces, yeah, es todo eso rodeado y everything I think has to do with it. And I think from here I want to take it on to the other question that I had because y todavía es con este topic, ¿no? Y con Saúl también lo he hablado. In the soccer games before, habían probably más often que nunca, donde habían goleadas 4, 5, 6, 8. Yo me acuerdo que la Premier League yo veía que Arsenal le metía 8-1, 7-1. Yo veía más goleadas en todas las ligas del mundo. Voy a ponerlas todas. Y habían más juegos abiertos, te divertían. Ahora sí decías, mejor no voy a la fiesta a hablar con la muchacha porque mi equipo favorito va a jugar a las 5. Ahora, it's like, mi equipo favorito va a jugar a las 5, pero para ver un 0-0, 45 minutes, pues mejor voy a la fiesta. Mejor me pierdo de ver mi partido, ¿no? So, algo pasó allí también. Yo lo siento mucho, pero the soccer games now son aburridos. Aburridísimos. Apenas van 1-0, 2-0. And like, I don't know if you guys see it the same way, but a mí me parecen aburridos.
Yeah, I think it just to add on to you, I think that it just, like I said, no hay esa mentalidad libre to be creative, to be enjoying the game. I think
bueno, your coaches killed the game.
No,
your new coaches killed the game.
The new coaches broke the system, so everybody has to play a system now. That's the issue. That's the issue. Like, again, yo creo que tú y yo estamos hablando before, like, just as the basic system, right? So, jugaron 4-4-2, pero las variantes jugaban en un partido. Tú nunca te decías, oye, yo voy a jugar nomás estrictamente un 4-3-3, y ya todos están preguntando por qué vas a jugar eso, and your players, they're no longer variantes. They're only to their positions. So it's like you're putting the players in a little box and be like, this is your box. This is where you go, and that's it. And
eso no, y el coach, because I see this también too. El coach antes le decía al jugador, hey, vamos a jugar acá, vamos a jugar así. Pero el jugador antes tenía la mentalidad y el liderazgo de decir, all right, coach, tú me dijiste algo, pero yo en la cancha, si yo veo que no me está funcionando lo tuyo, I'm going to do whatever I want.
Yeah, adjustments, mid-game.
Y ahora el jugador, como Saúl dice que quieren su babysitter, pues su babysitter les dice, por acá no vayas, le dicen, mi coach me dijo que por acá no vaya, no voy a ir por allá. ¿Cuántos partidos ven con los pases que son hacia atrás y de lado a lado, de lado a lado, de lado a lado? Eso no es fútbol.
There's no leadership. There's no take charge type of mentality. You know, you don't see it. In a lot of games, you see it. Like, there's no one is actually really grabbing this and really, like, you know what, like, the system, our style is not working. Let me step up to the occasion and raise everyone up with me. No one does that. There's no leadership. It's not on the field, at least.
Yeah.
You know,
Raúl, Álvaro.
Lo que dijo el Tuca, las defensas ganan campeonatos, Beto.
No, pero una cosa también ver que las defensas hagan algo, pero aquí ni los delanteros están haciendo algo para trabajar. O sea, no te están haciendo trabajar por tu trabajo. Like, ya hasta los defensas se han visto que ya no hacen el trabajo de defensas.
No,
o sea,
no saben cubrir.
No saben lo que están haciendo. Like, están ahí parados en la cancha para decirte, ya estoy de último, pero that's about it. Es muy difícil encontrar un equipo que sea, decirte, de not even Simeone's teams now, right? Porque antes se notaba que eran esos 8 jugadores que jugaban en bloque y nunca le ganaban y perdían 1-0 si era porque si tal vez le caían un balón de área y algo pasaba, pues. But you're not even seeing it with him now. You've lost it completely. And it's just because of that. Like the player changes, the old school players have recycled out. Now you have new school players in there, and just like se ha destruido todo.
Álvaro.
Man, I mean, when it comes to just like the systems, like you said, man, it is become a little bit of a boring game. You know, being a Bayern Munich fan, you know, and bro,
what do you mean Lewandowski's carrying that team? What are you talking about?
Siempre golean, ¿cuál aburrido?
They're the most scoring team, man. What are you talking about?
Well, and imagine that, like, you're looking for one guy all the time, right? And Lewandowski, in every single game, and you can see that, you know. And I think they're probably one of the few teams that have tried to have that freedom, I guess, you know, con las bandas, right? Because I think that's been like their style of play for a long time, which is why I'm so predictable in FIFA. But yeah, no, like to Lewis's point, like you're looking at the defenders, you know, it's just like, what are you doing back there? Like you can't even put un pase. You can't, you know, we can't do a simple 1-2 out here. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, come on, your goalkeeper can pass, you know, the ball better than you. Like this guy's out here playing sweeper, like the heck, you know.
Y te la voy a cerrar también, mira. Y esto tiene que ver todo con the new coaches. Todo es culpa de ellos. Y bueno, Klopp es uno de los buenos, right? The new coach. Me parece que el new coach que agarraron Bayern, you could put him in there, ¿no? As a new coach. Simeone, you can consider him a relatively new. Zidane, relatively new.
Simeone ya se quemó, güey.
Yeah, that's it. He's on his way out of Atlético Madrid, nomás de que para no se va a ir.
Pero
Argentina, ya que se retira Messi.
Ya se retira.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can say.
Y ahí
well,
Argentina, I mean, campeón del
really
mundo, te lo firmo.
Pero tú crees que
este año.
No, este año no, güey.
¿Cómo no?
No,
Seriously, ¿te apuestas en que no llegan a las semifinales?
Una apuesta aquí, muchachos.
Pero no lo veo campeón.
Damn. All right.
Bueno, para terminar el tema, the way that I was going, ¿no? Esto tiene que ver mucho the new coaches y los preparadores, los que están entrenando a los jóvenes. Porque el fútbol ahora el 9 es casi un poste. Tell me un 9 que sepa to dribble y que no juegue de espaldas. Lewandowski es bueno, pero he doesn't dribble.
Luisito.
Benzema.
Mejor del mundo, Benzema.
Let's see.
El último 9 fue él.
Yeah, no, Haaland is actually there, bro. I can
Pero-
say that Haaland's
Pero
there.
al nivel de él,
Está joven,
Está
güey.
demasiado joven,
Está
yeah.
joven para decir
Yeah,
que
you
es
can't.
Ronaldo.
pero
Pero
es-
el último mejor 9, Luisito. ¿Dónde dejas a Luis Suárez?
ya.
Yeah.
Bueno, vamos a
Desde
poner
Luis
vamos a
Suárez.
poner a Haaland y a Luisito Suárez, pero los 9 eran de ese nivel, que se sabían mover, sabían dribble, y ahora los 9 son postes. ¿Qué pasó con Francia? Francia was champion with Giroud. How many goals did that dude make?
0.
¿Qué aportó? Más que nomás dar el balón así.
Asistencias.
Mm.
Bueno,
Pero,
ganó el fútbol
sí,
moderno ahí.
So that's what tells you que los que están preparando están matando el fútbol, porque los 9 tenían que ser dribblers y finishers.
So what if I
Pues-
tell you que no son los nuevos, sino son los que no existen?
The false nines. That's became a big part of the game.
So what if I tell you that it's not that the new coaches are making mistakes. I think that there's not enough coaches to teach.
What do you
At a
mean?
young-
Hay fútbol en todo el mundo.
Right, pero ¿cuántos de verdad están entrenados para darte lo que te estaban dando antes? Si tú me estás diciendo ahorita, right, que cuántos jugadores y cuántos they're all coming up y ahora se están haciendo estrellas por nomás su postada, but not for their skills, not for their anything. Then they're just making it because they just can make it, but not necessarily for their skills. So like if it's hard for you to sit here and say like ¿cuántos de verdad entrenadores are skilled enough to bring up youngsters?
Eso es lo que decías, okay.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, ¿cuántos de verdad están entrenados adecuadamente para traerte? Yo te diría, estos jugadores, like you're saying, Dani Alves, the mentorship should be, go find me one like you. Go find me a kid that came from a barrio like you. Him, Marcelo, other people. Encuéntrame un niño de la calle que yo me pueda aportar, que no es de que te voy a gastar millones de dólares, pero te voy a dar una mejor vida para empezar. And you bring that kid over.
Yeah, I agree 100% with what you said. ¿Y sabes por qué no están los que deberían de estar preparando a los jóvenes? Porque no les pagan bien.
Right.
Porque no les pagan bien y ellos como ya ganaron todo, pues no lo van a ir a hacer casi gratis. Entonces están entrenando pues los que apparently are fans y ven el fútbol de espaldas. Lo siento, pero sí lo ven de espaldas porque me están... A ver, porque ese es un ejemplo, ¿no? El 9. But how many... The wingers de hoy no son los mismos wingers que antes. How many players do you know that dribble now? Son muy pocos.
Yeah, it's all speed.
No te saben ni centrar un buen balón.
Yo, es lo que estaba escuchando el otro día. Yeah, but that's the thing I was criticizing the other day. I'm like, you can sit here and say, how many times did we just sit there on a corner and be like, yo, I'm gonna cross the ball like where I want to put it, and then you just practice that. Like now you don't even see that. Now they can't cross the ball past either the first post or si es el segundo poste es hasta la otra esquina. So I'm like,
encuéntrame a alguien que tenga el 20% de este cabrón, siquiera.
Ahí está Jürgen Damm, güey.
O sea, me mataron el juego. Me lo mataron. The defenders no saben defender. Los wingers no saben dribble. El delantero del 9 ya es más tronco que nada y así lo
The
quieren.
midfielders don't even know how to pass.
Los midfielders no saben agrégale ahí el árbitro que no sabe arbitrar.
También. Ya.
El coach que no sabe dirigir. ¿Qué hacemos?
We stick to FIFA 22. Bro.
Yeah, I think
The doctors that can't keep the players injury-free.
Los doctores.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot that's changed, obviously, and that we're relying a lot on the new school stuff, and that's affecting the game overall.
¿Hay un arreglo a esto?
Damn, bro. Get away from those high salaries for each players and give it to the people that really, are putting the effort teaching the new kids. I don't know, right? But I feel like that's where they have to go because we're not playing for prestige anymore, right? It's not that it's all money, right? And if money's just gonna kill the game, in my perspective, you have to go back to like
But that means you would have to change.
Like what it means to wear that crest next to your heart, because it's a reason why that's there, right? So
I think
You're
that.
talking about.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You're talking about trying to change the mindset of the clubs because it starts from the top down. If the clubs you're playing for, they don't care about you. They don't. They all they care about is the money. They don't care about the profits. You know, it has to start from there because otherwise, what if the organization doesn't care? Why would you as a player care? You know, it has to start from the top and it has to work its way down to the bottom, down to the reserves, down to the scouting systems. It has to start from the top. And the clubs, you talk about these giant clubs. I had a friend I talked to the other day. This is the most boring Champions League we're gonna probably see ever. These big clubs are mediocre at best.
Yeah, I think that the other comment was the other day. The only reason Real Madrid can lose this Champions League is because Vinicius would be hurt and Benzema would be out.
O sea que
It's not
ya,
about Madrid. It's not about
ya me
Madrid.
Ya han vendido la Champions para que di que no que la van a ganar.
o sea que ya me estás diciendo, o sea que ya mejor que ni se presenten los demás a los octavos de final.
Again, this is what I'm saying. Like, so, and overall, like, who's displaying the best football, like, in Europe? And again, they're saying Real Madrid right now at this moment, with Vinicius the way he is, with Benzema the way he is, like that team is clicking at the best part. Oh no, I understand. I completely agree with you. They're not even at a high level, and this
It's
is
not even the
about,
best
like,
Madrid we've seen in the past 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about 36-year-olds, 30-year-olds having that midfield locked up. Like, that's crazy to think about. That's crazy to think
O sea
about.
que el Bayern de Álvaro, ¿no me lo estás metiendo ahí?
No, porque no tienen defensas. Vinicius se la va a comer.
Nicholas is leaving.
Bye. Like, te mandas a Vinicius y ya se la vas.
But even like you can't. Even Real Madrid's like a wild card because look what happened just not this past weekend. They got knocked out of the Copa del Rey, no?
Yeah,
contra Athletic Bilbao,
but
you know?
But again, we're talking about why were they there?
They don't care because the Copa del Rey is not a prestigious cup. They don't care because the mindset is that it's not there. And that's the thing is like, those little things take the joy out of it because if you can't appreciate even a simple Copa, like a Copa del Rey or like whatever your country's cup is, you know, if only you would care about is Champions League and the World Cup, you know, like you're taking the joy out of it.
Saul's answering you. He only cares about the Champions League. That's the fan now.
But the issue here is
that's what makes the most money, bro.
The Copa del Rey right now, and this comes down more to FIFA. I think FIFA overall, their schedules are fucked up. So
hasta ahorita lo dices.
So cuánto tiempo de descanso tuvo Vinicius before that game?
Como 3 días, ¿no? Me imagino.
No, less. Remember, he's traveling.
Yeah.
He had like 36 hours y todavía fue y llegó, entrenó light y todavía se fue a jugar partido.
Sí.
Después de jugar 60 minutos a Brasil. So again, we're talking about how do you burn a player out? That's how you burn them out. Less than 36 hours of rest. That's ridiculous.
Bueno, look at the schedule de este año para jugar la World Cup en noviembre.
Feo, sí, va a estar muy feo.
And you're talking about FIFA
tienen Champions, ¿no?
Yeah, Champions también. Yeah. We're talking about FIFA who's trying to propose World Cup every 2 years now too. You know.
Yep.
Because why? Because the money. They want money. The money's that's. You know, the money.
It's all right. I think that they were saying Conmebol and UEFA aren't buying yet, so unless the money comes in, that FIFA check.
Bueno, ya sabemos que Conmebol ya va a hacer algo con UEFA. That's already signed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's their own like little Champions League.
that they're gonna do.
¿Va a ser de selecciones o de equipos?
De equipos es como su Champions League, pero nada más de Europa y de Conmebol. Es lo que estaban haciendo antes. So, like, ellos querían hacer un mix de Copa Libertadores y la Champions League, basically.
Se ve aburrido eso.
Again, so ¿de dónde te vienen los jugadores a Europa?
De Sudamérica, pero ¿a qué edad se van?
Le van a ir a,
Antes los
le van a ir a sacarlos, lo van a ir a ver. They're scouting for
bueno,
free.
por
They're
eso,
scouting for free. You're gonna be like,
You're
yeah, van
bringing
a
it to you.
regresar aquí. Yeah, you bring
¿Quién
you
fue
bring
el
them.
último campeón latinoamericano del mundial? Brasil.
Brasil.
Ya
Right.
van 20 años.
Pero ¿cuánto no les han sacado Real Madrid de allá de abajo?
Por eso, a eso voy también del dinero, de que antes tenías ídolos desde Brasil, Argentina, Chile, se iban 22, 23 años, se iban como ídolos. Ahora se los llevan, ¿qué? 15, 16 años.
Es lo que le estaba diciendo a Beto el otro día. Si hubiera una cláusula que no los dejara salir hasta los 23 años, ¿cómo afectaría el juego?
Tenían más amor a la camiseta también.
Yeah.
Like, do you see that affecting the player?
No.
No creo, porque el que es bueno es bueno. O sea, en México se habla mucho que los jugadores se van a Europa, pero jugar en Europa no te garantiza, al menos en una selección no te garantiza ser buena selección. Tienen todos en Europa. Ve Estados Unidos no juega tan bien. Lo único que tienen que le ganaron los 2 partidos a México. De eso van a vivir todo este año.
So,
frío de Pulisic.
La otra cosa sería, ¿verdad? Ellos dicen que los jugadores de Sudamérica toman un tiempo en ajustarse. ¿Cuánto es el tiempo de que toman en ajustarse? ¿Es un año? ¿Son 2 años? ¿Cuánto es?
Es que depende de cada jugador. Bueno, ahí está el claro ejemplo. Donovan nunca jugó en Europa.
El mejor jugador que va a tener Estados Unidos,
Y el mejor jugador que va a tener Estados Unidos.
Wow.
Capitán América.
I don't know about that one.
It's all Clint Dempsey. What are you talking about?
Pero esa selección de Estados Unidos era un buen equipo. O sea, como equipo eran muy buenos. Y tenías casi mitad MLS y mitad de Europa.
Yeah.
O sea, y para mí ir a Europa no es la clave de tener una buena selección. Ve los campeonatos del mundo
I agree.
de antes.
So, en este aspecto estamos... la idea fue que... Voy a entrar un poquito más en lo de México, pero hay menos transferencias de México a Europa y esta selección no perdimos muchos más. Se pudo ir Romo, se pudo ir otras cuantas en la media cancha también. So, again, I guess for me era más... yo lo encontraba más beneficio que lo encontraba otra cosa, porque ya no estás trayendo un jugador de Europa otra vez y a la misma vez se queda jugando en un equipo consistentemente y sigue jugando en la Liga Mexicana y no se pierde ese tiempo que está en la banca esperando su lugar porque se está adaptando a un juego europeo. So, para el Mundial, I think lo encuentro un poquito mejor, pero again, it depends on the player, como estás diciendo, like, cuánta garra va a salir para decir, voy a tener un buen Mundial para yo después irme a Europa. So.
Yeah. To your question that you said, that que si le pones el requirement de que se vayan hasta los 23, it wouldn't affect the player. What it would affect, what Vic said, the business of the group of the clubs over there.
Yeah.
Porque yo lo siento mucho por Europa, pero Europa no tiene jugadores desequilibrantes. Los jugadores desequilibrantes están en Sudamérica. Porque si le quitas todos los jugadores desequilibrantes a Europa, Inglaterra solo tiene a Sterling y Sterling ni es inglés. He's from Jamaica. Sí, Álvaro ni le gusta. Germany tiene a Zane.
Es africano, ¿no?
Y nada más.
Aquí tienen on the left.
Oh, Werner on the left. On the left bench.
Y Francia también. Francia es puro descendencia africana.
Entonces, Europa tiene mucho jugador técnico, long pass, short pass, el tipo de jugador que le gusta a Saúl, right? The boring play. Pero
1-2.
Quítale los jugadores equilibrantes. No hay, bueno, quítale todos los jugadores de South America a la Liga Premier, and I'll ask you if the Premier League will be still considered number 1 league in the world.
I mean,
well, the thing is, I think they're the least South American held. Porque right now it's la Bundesliga, it's la Liga de Holanda, y the Portuguese league. I think that may bring
maybe la Liga de España, maybe entonces.
La Liga de España sí, 100%.
Sí.
De ahí te destruyes todo. You destroy la Liga de España.
A Real Madrid le quitas
Real
todo.
Madrid, bye.
Sí, sí.
Again,
Yeah.
we see the effects from, again, the players that are coming from South America from this break. And now you had coaches complain and be like, well, ¿por qué vamos a jugar esta semana cuando no tengo mis jugadores?
Which that's the other question I was gonna say. Algo tiene que cambiar o pasar con las selecciones, because también los partidos de las selecciones aburridísimos.
Aburrido.
Aburridísimos.
Even worse than the
Seven
clubs.
games of
Yeah.
Colombia tying 0-0.
Y meter un gol.
Yo soy aficionado de Colombia. Yo no sé qué
Bueno.
hago, me vuelvo loco, yo creo.
¿Desde qué? ¿Noviembre? Octubre, ¿no? Que no meten gol.
Y tienen
Algo
puros
así.
jugadores desequilibrantes para hacer gol.
Yeah, yo creo que
Tiene
hasta El
falta.
Salvador le gana ahora.
Bueno,
hasta Bolivia le da un buen partido a Colombia ahorita.
si jugaba en El Salvador ya.
That's who needs to become a coach right there.
Would he coach?
Nah.
Bueno, I think
don't so.
let's drop into. I think we have 2 more left, pero this is one of the those mundiales.
Oh,
I know.
man.
Yo creo que todos empezamos a ver desde el 98, maybe 2002, ¿no?
2002.
2002, right? So from 2002 till 2018, however you guys want to answer, ¿cuál les
Yeah,
ha
no,
parecido el mejor and why?
I have 98. I'm sorry. Just
Bueno,
because I'm the older one. I guess no, because that was the first like World Cup that I really dialed into, you know, and then it was crazy because you know, it was that Brazil team that was there, right? Holy Jesus. You know, oh man, like you watch that team play and then, you know, the whole controversy with Zidane, right? And just like the expectation on his shoulder, right? And just the whole, like, who the Jesus you're talking about, Zidane, Henry. And it was bananas, man, to watch them. And that's, I think everyone just had the expectation that they were both going to be in the finals.
So that was is that your choice for the best World Cup you've seen?
I mean, yeah, hands down. Like, I don't. And again, like, this is not coming from 98. I was 7 years old, right? But at least that's the one thing that I, you know, every 4 years, my dad used to be like, "Hey, we're gonna sit down. We're gonna watch all these games," right? So, but now I remember, I cried. Holy shit! Like, I remember I cried because I wanted Brazil to win so bad. Just with the way that they played, you know, and I was like, oh yeah, like how can there be another team that doesn't play the way that Brazil plays and still,
And,
you know,
and
come
more
out on
because
top
I'm
with it,
assuming because Ronaldo, whatever happened to him before the game.
Oh yeah, definitely, you know. But you had people coming in like, you know, I think Kaká was one of like, everyone had eyes on him because that was the World Cup that everyone was like, who's that kid, that skinny, scrawny kid? That's serious. And then to compare him to people like Roberto Carlos, you know, and, you know, Ronaldinho, obviously, I think everyone was just like, this is going to be the one that solidifies him as one of the greats, you know. But yeah, I don't know what other ones that really, I mean, besides that, and when Germany won, right? When Götze came in, and I was like, bro, unleash the beast. And I don't remember who was there with me, but I was like, that's it. Anyone that came to watch that one, I was just like, I got up and I was like, that's it. He's coming in, and that's it. I left at like, I forget what.
Okay, so el tuyo es 98 and 2014.
Oh yeah, I'm biased of 2014 though.
Okay. ¿Quién más? ¿Quién sigue? Raúl, Vic, Saúl.
Es que también depende qué equipo o qué selección. Por decir, a mí la del 2010 por la selección de España, cómo jugó el fútbol. La del 2014 también, Alemania dominó ese mundial. Digo, ahí está el 7-1 Brasil.
Pregúntale a Brasil.
De ahí Rusia no me gustó mucho. La del 2006, Francia, Italia también estuvo aburrida la final. Ah, pues sí, yo me quedo con la del 2010. Sí, la del 2006 también estuvo aburrido el partido.
Saúl, Vic.
Go ahead, Vic.
I was gonna say that también the 2010. I think that was my favorite World Cup to watch by far. You know, you had literally that was right coming off right of the Barcelona tiki taka. You know, that pretty much changed the whole Spanish national team, literally. And those are like iconic players. Now you go back and that was a pretty crazy World Cup. 2014, you knew who was taking it from the get. That's the thing. Like I liked the 2014 one too, but you knew exactly who was taking that. It was Germany all day, no contest, and especially once they chewed up the host like that. No remorse, no nothing. The German war machine was in full effect in that tournament. 2018, I appreciate the 2018 a little bit just because I like the little love story that Croatia had. You know, that little underdog mentality. I think that's the only thing I liked about the 2018 was that once I saw Croatia like coming out, and I was like, you know, like you really want to see them win. It sucked that it didn't, you know. But what could you do?
Bueno, a Saúl ni le pregunto. I think we all know what he's going to say.
Which one?
I think 2010. I don't think it's 2014.
So I think that for my first Mundial, it was the 2002. Obviously, just to start it off, like I think that's where I was more emotional for it. The one more that I have favorite, of course, is the 2010 with Spain, just because I was following again Barca at the time. And I think I was so in love with them when I was just like, there's nobody gonna touch this team. There's nobody. I was like, they had the best of Real Madrid and Barca. Basically Real Madrid completed Barca at that point. So I was like, there's no every area that Barca failed at or didn't have the most up to date, which is where I felt like Piqué was not there, you know. Yeah, or like Valdez, then they had Casillas. So like for me, they had everything they needed to be a complete team. I remember like in school, like dude, I remember like we got to convince one of the teachers, be like, yo, like the game's on, can you put it on? And she did actually bring out the TV. She goes, all right, but don't tell anybody. And then she would put the TV on the side and be like, all right, this is gonna do it, because she was a soccer fan at that point. So I think that's the one I loved the most. But I think that the one I followed the most was 2010 one.
Casi todos dijeron 2010. I'm gonna say 2006. Me pareció que todos los. Why?
Because of Mexico.
No, porque.
Pero México siempre llega a octavos.
But yeah. I think that they had the better instance, a better team at that point. Y hubo más guerra en ese aspecto. But...
Jugaba mejor. O trataba de jugar mejor que las otras selecciones que habían jugado the past World Cups. I chose that one because yo creo que it was the last one donde casi todos los ídolos con los que empezamos a hablar, that was the last World Cup that they probably got to play. Todavía that World Cup for me, todavía llegué a ver el fútbol que a mí me gusta, fútbol alegre, donde había goles, donde estaban abiertos los partidos. Like, comparto lo de 2010, ¿no? Yo creo que todos queríamos que España ganara por el fútbol que practicaba, pero eran los partidos de España, pero todos los demás aburridos. Parecían un Chiapas Veracruz a las 12 del día en domingo. Y más con ese friazo, forget it. Pero ya yo creo que el 2006, el 2014 también hubo más uno que otro abierto, en el 2018 de lo peor. At least soccer wise. Es que a mí me gusta que el aficionado quiere ir al estadio a ver goles, a que su equipo gane o que pierda pero con goles. Cabrón, es 0-0, 1-0. Mejor pongo WWE, no sé.
Watch the UFC.
For
Start
real.
betting, make some money.
You know it.
I think it's the thing is like you see 2018. If you're looking at a team like Croatia, like doing that, like you can already tell like if Croatia's making it to the final. No offense to Croatia as a team. That team was a pretty good team actually.
They were.
But it's just like it just shows you how you can see the mediocrity coming, and even the national teams. You know that you got a France and Croatia final. It's like
No, y Croacia llegó también bien cansado. La semifinal llegó hasta que tiempos extras, ¿no? Y los cuartos también los jugó hasta tiempos extras.
Sí.
Si Croacia hubiera llegado más, no creo que hubiera sido un 4-1. Sí lo hubiera peleado más. Traía mejores jugadores Francia, pero era mejor equipo Croacia.
Sí.
Yeah.
Right.
¿Y Croacia sacó a quién?
A los ingleses.
It's coming home. That's where it started coming.
Sí.
England, yeah.
Que Inglaterra, a mí se me hace un chiste enorme, Inglaterra, porque ellos siempre tienen el camino más fácil y aún así no la arman. Estaban en el grupo de Panamá.
Can't disrespect Panama anymore, bro.
No, pero creo que los ingleses tienen esa mentalidad de grandes, ¿no? De como ellos inventaron el fútbol, siempre tienen esa según superioridad. Y
un campeonato.
Sí.
Y más o menos, porque no sé todavía si ese balón pasó la línea o no.
Bueno, pero luego el fútbol le hizo justicia en el 86. ¿O no?
Álvaro, ¿qué? ¿Cómo que por favor, qué? ¿Tú viste el balón que pasó la línea o qué?
Claro.
Desde entonces pedimos VAR.
There you go, el VAR. Bro, yo te apuesto que si hay VAR en el 66, marcan que sí es gol todavía, ¿eh?
That's not Messi. Relax. So let me ask you, like 2000 we talked about 2014. If Argentina would have won that cup, would that have solidified Messi as the best? Because I don't think we have talked about Messi this whole time, man.
Saúl es el que no le gustan los argentinos.
Oh, so take it away, bro.
Which one? 2014?
Yeah, 2014. If they would have
Saúl or Vic.
Germany.
I know, but obviously yes. It's hard. It's hard to take that away from him. He's done all his merits that he needs to club-wise. Obviously, after that close coming, there's been nothing else really showing that Argentina was going to be a good team until now. I think they're the most dynamic team now, and they have like such a young like midfield and backfield, or like a good aged for what they want to do. They have enough experience for a team. So hopefully it's this one. I think that this is it. Like, you know, obviously we're saying this is it for Messi, but I think that this is it for Argentina. Because if they don't do it this one, I don't think they're gonna do it anytime within the next 20 years.
It's a rebuilding thing. Same thing that happened to Barca. Yeah. It's a rebuilding. How do you rebuild a team around Messi without Messi? You know.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like I think that they can. I just think that they don't have that. They won't have this team in 4 years in the same moment that they're living now. Lautaro is starting to pick up his pace. You have Di Maria still responding, giving you good things. You have a Valverde who's going up. You know, like all this other stuff. Like
Valverde is Uruguay.
Yeah, Uruguay. Sorry. What's this other guys? What's their midfielder? That plays De Paul, right?
Rodrigo De Paul.
Yeah, so that's another one that's living in a great moment as well. Like that, you're talking about like those players that they're playing well.
Pues sabes qué es lo que pasa con Argentina. Bueno, yo creo en mi forma de ver el fútbol que también Argentina es el que mejor juega al fútbol en todas las selecciones. Y sabes qué es lo que está haciendo que ellos jueguen mejor, es que el técnico está escogiendo a los jugadores que están jugando y en su mejor momento en todas las ligas, tanto en la Liga de Argentina como en la Liga Mexicana, porque ha llamado a 2 o 3 que están jugando en la Liga Mexicana y todos los que están jugando en buen momento, ¿no? And then you go to other selecciones And you're like, what is this coach doing? How come he's not convocando a los que están jugando? ¿Por qué no convoca a este? ¿Por qué no convoca a aquel? Yo veo que Argentina es la única selección que está haciendo ese trabajo. That coach and his cuerpo técnico están haciendo ese trabajo de ir a ver todos los partidos en todos lados y convocando a los que tienen que convocar.
One more to add on to that is a new Uruguay coach.
Bueno, tú ya le quieres hacer una estatua. Lleva 2 partidos, tranquilo.
No. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like él cambió en el aspecto de los que estaba llamando, and I think that they were even criticizing him for one player that he brought on that la rompió en esta. I forget his name. But that one player made the difference of the team, and everybody kept criticizing him, saying like, "Yo, who do you think you are? You're calling a nobody. You keep calling a nobody," and they were criticizing him.
Sí.
And he has a weird last name. I forget his last name, but they kept telling him like, "Yo, what is he doing on the field?" And then basically, like the day of the when he announced his 11, they're like, "This coach is I don't know what he's doing. He's probably gonna see this game and that's it."
Arrascaita?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And again, you were talking about like again, you're who would know that player unless you like obviously have either came up with him or you're doing your work, one or the other. And you would know that he can fit into whatever game plan you have because they can do something that you know that they can do, and that's the only way. You know the players with like características that you need for the game to play out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some of these coaches, when they get una selección, they start complaining or start saying que es muy difícil hacer seleccionador. I think that's the easiest job, man. A mí me dan una selección el día de mañana with my feet up, just watching TV todos los partidos. That's simple. Tienes 18 equipos locales en tu liga de tu país y más los que están jugando afuera. That's all you got. You just gotta watch football. That's it. ¿Qué es lo difícil?
You get paid too much to do that.
Lo pueden hacer con un helado, un whisky aquí al lado y...
Aparte que no lo hacen solo, ¿eh?
I know.
Tiene un cuerpo técnico que les ayuda.
Exactly. Peor todavía se ven, imagínate. But you know what goes into that factor is that these coaches, when they're getting the selecciones, some of them are putting in their contracts to not live in that actual country. Like, por ejemplo, cuando Javier Aguirre lo fueron a buscar de Egipto, he put in his contract, if you want me to coach them, I gotta go live in France. I'm not gonna go live in Egypt. Entonces lo mismo hizo el Tata Martino. He put that on his contract. I'm not gonna live in Mexico. I'm gonna live in Argentina. Así como van a ver los partidos.
Right. Unless they're traveling.
And you think they're going to be traveling every weekend?
Oh, TV. The heck? Where have you?
Yeah, but it's different. It's different seeing the game. It's different seeing the practice.
All right.
The highlights.
Por eso nomás llama lo que dicen los comentaristas.
Exactly. ¿Y dónde me dejas a los jóvenes that are coming up?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bueno, ya tenemos 1:20. The last subject we got, ya para cerrar, is our favorite teams growing up, ¿no? O los equipos favoritos en nuestra época growing up, y quizá maybe un poquito the favorite teams now, ¿no? Whoever wants to start.
Bayern Munich, all day, every day, every second of my life. That's
yeah,
it.
I know. This guy, Alvaro, ever since I met him, he was the only one that ever went for Bayern Munich since I've known him. And I think that's weird to find. So I find it interesting. So what made you look into Germany?
Bro, that's a good question. Holy shit.
Because I've known you. You're the only one. Like, everybody's like, oh, like, obviously those Galacticos. You're talking about, like, Real Madrid. You're talking about Barca. You're talking about, like, the Brazilian players coming into there. But, like, for you, like, it's always been Bayern. And I'm like, but why?
You know what? It was, I think it had to do with discipline. As weird as it sounds. I think they had a system, or just Germany overall, they have a very disciplined style of play, and I don't remember where the love came from, to be honest. I just remember, no, not even close. No, I really like. I wasn't into like.
Who's the
I
other
think
nine that they used to have? Is it Gomez? Gomez? Yeah.
So
Gomez.
No.
I remember the first time
Who was it?
Luca Toni, who's Italian, right? He was their forward, and again, their style of play. I don't think even if you look back there, right, it's always been one of these. You know, if you look from Luca Toni to then like
¿Te tocó todavía ver Claudio Pizarro?
Yeah, Claudio Pizarro, Mario Mandzukic, and then Lewandowski, and then it's always been, and again, it's very predictable. They know how to use the left flanks, the right flanks, and I think it must have started when I really looked at like Ribery, that had that I don't think I had seen a player with the type of speed, with the like I will take you on and I will keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying.
Era cuando estaba Ribery y Robben, ¿no?
Yeah, no, still, but I'm talking like a young Ribery, like
Okay.
that was just like, I'm gonna keep trying, bro. Like I had never seen someone go, I'm gonna try the exact same shit one more time. And hopefully, and then sometimes it would just be like, dude, he just did that shit to you like 2 minutes ago, and as a defender, like, why had you fall for that shit?
How do you defend Ribery to the left, and he still got it?
Bro, I like, who was in the midfield of Bayern Munich? If you asked me back then, I couldn't tell you the name.
Schweinsteiger.
It's a young man.
Michael Ballack.
I didn't even like him. His last name. His last name made me go ew for some odd reason. I can never pronounce him. But Schweinsteiger was about the only player that I really like in that midfield that I was like, he's gonna be something. And then when Toni Kroos came in, right? And I was like, yo, this kid's gonna be some shit someday. I saw that, and then Real Madrid snatched him. Thanks.
Biggest steal
Vic.
ever. Biggest steal
Thanks,
of the year.
Vic.
Thank you.
But things like watching Philip Lahm play too. It was just a cohesive
That's right
team.
back there where I will be.
And I think that was one of the most cohesive, teams that I've seen. And again, it's like a Real Madrid type version where we always had financial to be able to get people that we could afford. But again, it's
I mean,
it's a different.
Your biggest rival is a breeding ground for your top players.
Hey, Borussia Dortmund,
and they breed you like the best players that you see from.
They have a
Bayern
contract
sometimes.
because Bayern.
They come
Bayern,
straight.
Bayern.
Yeah, they just
Bayern
bail
gave
them
them
out,
everything.
out of bankruptcy.
But those are your
so,
biggest rivals most of the time, no? Like in the
Right.
league, at least. Like that's the games you look forward to in the Bundesliga, and it's like
right.
Does
and
Bayern
even
even
then,
have a
you
rival in
dominate.
Germany?
The
Does
closest
what-
I
does
can think of
what?
is Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund. And even-
No.
And
I
now
think that
Leipzig is up there. I like to. Those are the
not
matches
even
I look
Leipzig. I
forward
think
to.
it's Mönchengladbach, the
Mönchengladbach?
other Borussia.
Mönchengladbach.
Yeah, that's the other one. That's the one that has the most like scoring opportunities. That one has like games that they lose 6-0 and they win 6-1 the next one, and it's like it's all over the place.
But I mean, like,
Yeah,
look at
but-
over in the past, like not just against Bayern Munich themselves, but just to keep up with them in the league. Because every year you see, when's the last time someone other than Bayern Munich won Bundesliga?
Bro, it's just been dominant. Like, and again,
But that's
and
what I'm
then
saying.
don't get me wrong.
Not against Bayern Munich, they dominated, and that's cool. It's just,
I
it's just
think
like,
it
you know,
was
You-
more
You
than
know
15
what? No,
years ago.
to your point, I
No,
would
it
love
was like
to
2 years
see-
ago. 2 years ago they lost it.
2 years ago.
I swear that it was 2
Pull
years
up the
ago they lost
stats, bro. Pull up the stats.
Yeah,
Damn,
you're
y'all
the
gotta
fact
make me
checker.
doing
Go
this.
ahead and check that. But all I'm saying is, no, I am all for like small teams being able to compete because it just makes the game. Like I remember watching Werder Bremen and watching Wolfsburg.
Stuttgart.
going up, like, and I
Borussia Dortmund till 2011. What do you mean, Saul?
Really?
but it was just games. Like I was to be like, all right, like these were competitive games. Like they were not games. They were not blowout games. 3-1, 4-1,
Yeah.
4-2. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, all right, there's competition. And then don't get me wrong. I mean, as long as I've been a Bayern fan, like as a Bundesliga fan, I always wanted to see good games. Like
Bueno,
I want to see Bayern Munich get pushed to showcase their abilities, you know.
Bueno, que te tocó una buena liga, because I think, and I was talking with Saul about this, that the Germany league is the only league still to this day that still has more goals per team. Every other league,
Yeah.
their
El
goal ratio
promedio.
is
Yeah.
horrible.
Because we're the center backs. Bro, have you seen the center backs in the Bundesliga?
Yeah.
¿Qué es eso?
Bueno,
Bro.
¿quiénes son mejores? The center backs in Germany or the center backs in the MLS?
Joe, what are you talking about? And you see me defend. Holy shit. I'm dead serious, bro. It's just, you know, it's just like even the way the backpedal, like, oh my God.
They're always doing it the wrong way. Always.
You know, but I
Bueno,
mean,
I would have said Bayern, Vic, Saul.
can
Go
I
ahead,
speak
Vic.
for them? Oh, I know this.
For me,
I'm-
it's been
Sevilla, of course. We all know.
yeah.
Valencia.
No, I'm a very big Athletic Bilbao fan. Nah.
After this week, you better be, bro.
No, it's been Real Madrid, and when I first started watching soccer, it wasn't. I didn't really care for Real Madrid, but once Ronaldo, Cristiano went to the team, you know, I started watching Real Madrid religiously because Cristiano is my idol. So obviously, I'm gonna watch them. I didn't like them at first. I really didn't agree with the whole idea of what they were trying to prove. I didn't agree with everything. You can say it like probably Real Madrid killed football, but you know, at the end of the day, that's the team I'm supporting. Yeah, Sergio Ramos, Iker Casillas, Pepe. You know, that's the Casemiro. Even though Beto hates him, even though Beto will talk all day about how much he's not a good player, but I love this. I love this team. You know, this is talking about the most dominant European team in the past decade.
You feel
You know,
represented with that team.
It's not. It's like you can. At the beginning, you could see it was shaky. It wasn't working out. I don't think it was until maybe I think actually when Mourinho like came in, you started seeing like a formation of like what the idea was supposed to be.
The special one. Un aplauso para mi Mo.
It's all over here. It's like, no me hablen. Déjame tranquilo.
But then after that, as you start seeing, even though you could say he killed the team as well, you know, he was the one that brought them La Liga.
With record of points.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, like you could
players.
say he ended up killing
Oh.
the team. He killed the team también.
Ahora los jugadores, Álvaro.
But
Let's go.
Pagaron por él.
The ideology of that team became under Mourinho,
Bro.
and then
Vic, dile a Saúl, man. Mourinho llegó cuando Guardiola estaba en su apogeo con el Barcelona. He shut them off. ¿Qué quieres? What do you want them on?
Like that was like a Juger Klopp versus Pep Guardiola, and what we see like in the Premier League now. You know, that was the thing in La Liga back then.
¿Qué otro técnico le ganó a Guardiola?
Bro, he was dominant.
It was Mo. So, ¿qué le buscas a Mo?
at the end of the day, like you like
Saul, I want to hear Saul's take on this because
Saul is the one you gotta really ask.
I want to know what he has against this.
I know, for real, this guy.
I would have been happy to take Mo to Bayern. Right.
No, bye.
He doesn't want to coach Germany. He doesn't want to coach in Germany either way.
No, he wouldn't do it because he knows he'd get kicked out the door 3 seconds later.
What do you mean? No hay competición. That's why he doesn't want to coach over there.
I mean, he even said it himself. He said, "Yo, like, there's no."
Acabamos de revisar los campeones. When was the last time Bayern wasn't champion? 2011.
The point here is that he's saying that if they would take him, I don't think Bayern would take him.
The point que yo te estoy diciendo es que he wouldn't take them because he doesn't want to coach over there.
I don't think so. I think that he'd coach anywhere where there's enough to prove if you're saying he has a fácil, why not just go there and win the Champions League? If he
doesn't want he said it a long time ago. He doesn't want to coach in France and in Germany porque no hay competition.
Again, we're saying I get that, but we're saying like if you're still gonna win it easy and go to Champions League, why not just do it?
Bueno, pregúntale a él. Yo te estoy diciendo lo que está diciendo.
Prove it.
¿Qué quieres que
Prove
te
it.
diga?
I just want him to prove it. And
Go
and
on YouTube, Jose Mourinho opinion on German league.
no,
¿Qué quieres que
and
yo te
again,
diga?
his opinion, he can have an opinion,
It's
but I can
clear
just sit here and
opinions.
say, like, all right, then go and prove it. Same thing. I mean, I don't think he's gonna be able to redo what he did with the Portuguese teams, right? He's not gonna go there and be like, oh, I'm gonna make them something. What is he gonna say, that Portugal has more competition than Germany now?
Pero de Portugal porque de ahí salió, de ahí es.
That's my point.
What
So
does
he
he
can
have?
go back and prove it.
What does he have to prove? Ganándole con Portuguese team, ganándole a Chelsea, ganándole a Manchester United, ganándole a Real Madrid. ¿Qué quieres que
He beat Barca con Inter, the treble.
qué?
Look, that was
So
bought, okay?
what do you want him to
that
prove?
was bought. He's been buying
Comprado.
refs since back then. Yeah.
Ah,
Comprado.
I
The
don't know
treble
about that,
with Inter
bro.
was comprado.
lo que le
No,
robaron con el Chelsea.
I give him his accomplishments when it comes to those teams. I just, like I said, like he hit his peak and now he's gone. In my opinion, he's not one of the top coaches within the last 5 to 6 years. He's been gone.
No me digas que Guardiola is on his peak.
His last peak, or his peak, was basically that last Real Madrid run that he did, and that's it. That's as far as we go. I think that ever since then, he obviously has had like 1 or 2 teams, and that's it. That's it. Like, his menu. Yep. I don't think he had anything else after that.
And then you know what? And I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go, Alvaro. Go. You're the guest. Go.
I feel like we change, managers like we change diapers lately.
Right.
And then
but
to give someone like a Mourinho to come into a club and establish himself, that, and we can kind of look at, he came back to Chelsea, right? If I'm not mistaken.
And Man United.
And then Chelsea, where he like created a fantastic team, and then you're used to this system, and you come back and nothing really happened. You know what I'm saying? But you only gave them maybe a season or 2, and then you're like, all right, bye. And then you go to Manchester United, two seasons.
Again,
bye,
he doesn't like high pressure situations, which is where he cracks.
Real Madrid? What are you talking about?
What
other team do you go to when you get
saying,
other high pressure, specifically when he
that's
came
exactly
in?
why I said Real Madrid was the last time we saw him, and everything after that has been gone. Like,
hold my cup. Somebody hold my cup.
He hasn't been able to do it. I hope he does. I hope he does something to like either leave Roma and then come back to something bigger for him, or even come back to the English Premier League with something else.
So, cuando regresó a Chelsea, el equipo que tenía, ¿qué podía hacer? Hizo lo que tenía que hacer.
I want him to go to Portugal.
No, he's not old yet.
Portugal, huh?
He's not to that age yet. He will, but he's not at that age yet. When he went to Chelsea,
what he needs to do is just.
I just think that he's gonna end up.
Team.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if he takes Portugal, like, just do it now. I think that you're saying that he's not old yet. I don't think he needs to be old. I think that he can build whatever he wants to build from here for the next like 12 years, 20 years. Like that's his legacy to leave at the end. Two World Cups with Portugal.
Pero no es lo que él quiere. Él ha dicho when he gets old, he doesn't feel old yet. He's only 60. You get a selección when you're like 70.
What do you mean?
What?
He doesn't feel it. He doesn't feel it. ¿Qué quieres que yo te diga?
Who the hell's 70? That's an old school way of thinking.
And he's and what age is he?
Who are the younger coaches?
But what you asked the question. He's from that generation.
Right, but why are you going to sit here and say like, hey, he has to sit here and do that? He can sit here and give me 2 World Cups
porque yo le he escuchado que de su boca él lo ha dicho. No lo estoy diciendo yo como aficionado de él.
But my criticism for him is he can get 2 World Cups with Portugal.
Y si no quiere, ¿qué le quieres hacer?
Then he doesn't end up being anything. It's the same thing we criticize Messi for, right? We're like, you can't call him the best until he is the best, right?
Okay,
We're waiting for a World Cup. Waiting for a World Cup.
So
I don't
Mourinho,
like him.
so Mourinho isn't the best because he had era el único entrenador que a todo el equipo que iba, sus equipos no perdían home.
He's losing at home a lot pretty badly
Now,
lately.
pero estaba con el,
So what are you doing?
estaba con el Real Madrid.
We went
Estaba con el
from
Real Madrid.
again.
Y
We went
pregúntale a
from
Vic cuántas veces lo vio perder
we
a
went
Real
from
Madrid en el
we
Bernabéu.
went from a bot Real Madrid to a team
Okay.
that he is
No,
saying
pero
that
déjame
his
terminar.
ideology.
Porque ¿qué hizo? Dime un técnico que ha hecho algo con el Manchester United desde que Ferguson left. ¿Y quién se hace? ¿Tú sabes en qué lugar dejó Mourinho a ese Manchester United? Segundo.
Second
¿Y
place,
sabes
yeah.
en qué? ¿Y sabes con quién? Con Guardiola y con Klopp ya en sus equipos. So, me estás diciendo que están en el chisme y ganó la Eurocopa, la UEFA Europa
He
League.
didn't win.
Entonces, ¿quién la ganó? ¿La ganaste tú o qué?
Who won that league though? You're telling me second place. Who remembers second place?
Dime otro técnico que ha hecho algo tan siquiera con ese Manchester United. Nada,
No
ni
one's
se
gonna make
acercan al segundo
anything with the
lugar.
Manchester United.
Entonces, ¿de qué me hablas? Getting a second place is an
I
accomplishment.
honestly think if he would have stuck around Manchester United, we would have a different Manchester United.
Pero porque ya
Yeah.
pensamos como Saúl, por eso lo corrieron, because they want a championship. Pero
you can't get that.
I don't disagree.
You have to be a long-term plan.
Exactly.
I
Pero
don't
Like
Saúl
when you
quería-
look at Barcelona to what Pep Guardiola stumbled upon, right? Obviously he brought his own game plan, but I mean, you're talking about kids that understood soccer, you know, that Pep Guardiola came in with a system and was just like, hey man, we're gonna play this way, and then the kids understood, and then game over.
Yeah,
That's literally what
but
happened.
like I said, I think that when we're talking about like that aspect of Mourinho, like getting that second place, like the only reason they kicked him out is because he already had a broken, basically he had a broken room inside. El vestidor ya estaba quebrado, and that's why they let him go. But then again, that comes down to his character. Like I get that you can't change the person, but he can also change some approaches that he takes if he keeps breaking dressing rooms, and that's my criticism for him. 100% all the time. He breaks them every single time. Everywhere he goes, he breaks them.
Okay.
But maybe I think the question we're asking is, so Mourinho, he could be a great tactician, like he can read the game pretty well. But what we talking about earlier, you know, now we have managers that they're not just managers, they're babysitters for these players, and Mourinho is not that type of coach. Why does he break dressing rooms? Because he doesn't care if you're freaking Cristiano Ronaldo or freaking the bottom of the barrel. Like he wants performance, and that's what he demands. He don't care about your followers, and I think that's also why he also breaks dressing rooms kind of too, because you start to divide and you start like, you know, like we did the Iker Casillas, and that's gonna be his biggest criticism of probably Real Madrid, is that he benched Casillas for who?
For Diego Lopez.
Diego Lopez. You know. It's like, and then
Again, nobody knows why on that one still, right?
Porque le gustaba
Nobody
mejor Diego
knows
López, he said.
But you don't. What? Like,
es lo que él dice que quieres que haga.
Es que también you can't deny the fact that Mourinho is a personality in his own way too.
Right.
He's a very strong personality too. Like, and he's a very like don't challenge me kind of personality. And you have these little divas that they think the world revolves around them, and he's not for that. So maybe I think that's probably why Mourinho's not making it in the team that you're talking about now, because the last time he had that, he's lucky he did what he did at Real Madrid, probably, because that's probably the most diva, like this time, like in that most, like, you know, most divas in one team was that Real Madrid team. But before that,
he had leaders in that Real Madrid team.
You have a Cristiano Ronaldo, you have, you know, a Benzema,
Sergio Ramos, hands down, Pepe.
Casillas still, and Pepe, like you have players that we're gonna get the job done. The dirty players, yeah, those players that like we're gonna grind that out. Like they're not. No, I just think like you can criticize Mourinho a lot too, and I get why why Beto wants to defend him, because Beto sees the game from a manager's perspective. But what we're talking about is that we're also seeing something like. It doesn't matter anymore. It's not the only thing. There's a lot of aspects that come to being a manager, and it's like it's a lot of work. I feel like to be a manager in this day and age. A lot more work than it was, 20 years ago.
I think
Yeah,
Sir Alex Ferguson was, if you look at what he accomplished as a manager, right? It was a legacy, right?
Yeah.
And it starts with the kids, right? I think he had a big belief in regards to we have to make our own talent.
hmm
And I think Mourinho still has that kind of sort of like, hey, I want to build from the ground up. And then I don't think teams have that type of patience to give him, hey, I want to build on something. I genuinely think that's where he's like, hey, I want to build something great. But, if you're only going to give me 2 seasons, 3 seasons to make it, like, Ferguson didn't do that in, 2, 3 years.
No, they wanted to fire him in 5 years.
But
Do
that's
you
what
get
I'm
what I'm saying?
saying. So like, if we sit here and say like you're not gonna get that with clubs, but yet you could get that with the Portuguese team, why not do that? And I know I get that
Right.
saying that
I'm
it's the
with you on
opinion.
that.
It's the
I'm with you on
opinion of
that.
saying like, oh yeah, well he's saying he doesn't feel old, but I'm not sitting here like, what's more beneficial for your career? Where can you see yourself more impacting players? If this is what you love to do, why not do that? But we can leave it at that.
All right, so let's talk about your favorite coach. So,
My favorite
What's
what?
up? What's your favorite
your,
team?
no, his favorite coach is Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola
And that
coached
goes to
Barcelona,
hand in
and he
hand.
was
Yeah.
there. And then Pep Guardiola came to
Y,
Bayern, and then
y, y lo
Bayern. I
corrieron
was
por
like,
atrás del
Bayern?
Bayern, ¿eh? Lo corrieron
I
por
don't
atrás
give.
del
I don't
Bayern.
give a
Yeah.
damn. I didn't like his style of play, anyways. And then now
What do
he's
you
in Manchester
mean?
City.
He made Kimmich what he is today. He broke rules with Lam. He broke everything. What do you mean? He broke
Hey,
it.
no. He did some other stuff that
He broke
playing Lam in a
Alaba,
center
putting
defensive
Alaba in his
mid.
left to center mid. Yo, he
Yeah,
switched so much. It's crazy. But then again, that's only something you can do. But again, we're sitting here saying like Mourinho broke records, but then you talk about like Guardiola broke a style, which is why we have systems now, and that's where it comes from.
Dale Luis. I know it.
We can
Dile,
sit here,
dile, dile.
we can sit here and have a discussion. Like I said, 100%. But I'm just saying, like, what is the reason why Mourinho plays the reason he plays is because he also learned how to be a tactician against that Barcelona,
That's a
against those
good
big
point.
teams, against those aggressive teams. How do I win to defend, and then use my defending or my block or my structure to then beat that other team that thinks that their stars can come together and build something. That's how
No,
I feel.
no, because me lo catalogan como defensivo when he got to Real Madrid. Because that's the only way you had to play against Barcelona. Nadie le podía ganar a ese Barcelona ni en la Liga Española ni en otros lados. Nadie. Él fue el único que le supo ganar con Real Madrid, con el Inter. Él es el único. Ahora ya con Manchester City ya no juega igual. Pero Mourinho is your only coach que le supo ganar a Guardiola. Now, I wanted to answer desde hace rato. You say que Mourinho he doesn't have a good dressing room. Con todo el Inter, con todos los jugadores del Inter, se va a cenar. Con todos los jugadores del Inter.
It's
Con
that
todos los
Italian
jugadores del
Portuguese
Chelsea.
I'll talk to.
Con todos los jugadores del Chelsea, se va a cenar. Con todos los jugadores del Porto que salió campeón, se va a cenar. ¿En qué? Bueno, en el Real Madrid, dime qué entrenador sí le gustan ese vestidor es muy difícil. Dime qué entrenador, bueno, maybe Zidane, pero
I was
I
gonna
can
say
assure you,
Right.
maybe
El
some
Calvo.
players won't like Zidane because that dressing room was full with egos.
A lot of players don't like Zidane.
So, pero, ¿de dónde? Sácame las pruebas de que Mourinho no tiene un buen dressing room. Maybe ahora lo que pasa es lo que dice Vic, que tiene que ser un entrenador, un babysitter, pero yo no sé, Guardiola es your favorite coach, pero en Bayern me lo sacaron por atrás. Cada año no lo querían. Y le costó en una liga que está hecha para Bayern, and that's it. Y en Manchester City
Right.
no
So
hubiera
he
ganado.
he was bringing the idea for Champions League, right? So they brought him in for They didn't bring him in for the league. They can care less about it. He was
Y
just
ganó la
about
Champions.
structuring. It was about structuring what he wanted for that team. And again, like we
Y
were
la
saying,
ganó.
we're gonna say that there's a structure. Okay, hay que darle tiempo. Obviously, they gave him 3 seasons for a reason, right? And regardless of them saying that they didn't like how he played,
La
But it's
ganó.
because the expectation was for Champions League. Of course he didn't win it, which is why he was out the door, which is okay.
Me estás
It's
criticando a
okay.
Mourinho por lo mismo. Entonces, Guardiola's peak was Barcelona.
But you're talking about yes, so Barcelona, but then he's still won it with Manchester City. He's won the leagues.
¿Y cómo? Le compraron a todo el equipo.
And so Real Madrid wasn't bought.
¿A quién le compraron a Mourinho?
That team was already bought. Real Madrid already bought.
Él llegó, ya estaba.
That's my point. So why are you gonna sit here and buy? What do you have to buy? You don't have
Guardiola
to buy anything.
Guardiola compró todos sus jugadores.
Not in
Él no
Barca.
llegó al Manchester City que estaba.
Not in Barca. In Barca, he brought up with what he had with the youngsters. What are you talking about? So we sit here and criticize. So Real Madrid was a bought team with expensive players already, with
Ya se te olvida,
jerarquía, divas, and then you're gonna sit here and say, what was Barca? Barca, like, he brought up the
Brought up who? Busquets nada más. Dime otro. Pedro. ¿Y quién más?
who was? They weren't playing. You still had Deco. You still had Samueleto. You had he tried to buy Ibrahimovic.
Deco se
That
fue,
didn't
Saúl.
work.
If you remember,
My point
Deco
exactly.
se fue.
My point exactly. But I'm saying, like,
Ronaldinho se fue.
you had to. What's my point? So what did he buy? No, he used
Pero me
La
estás diciendo
Masia.
que sacó muchos jugadores. ¿Cuáles? ¿Busquets y Pedro? Los demás los compró también.
From external, where is he buying them from?
A Vidal.
Arturo Vidal? Or the other
A Vidal.
one? Okay, and then what else?
Yaya Touré.
Mourinho had his.
Yaya Touré. Dani Alves.
Okay, keep going.
Good Johnson.
Never played.
Kleb, he was Russian or something. David
Yeah,
Villa
he ended
llegó
up not playing
después.
either. David Villa
Villa
again.
llegó
Yeah,
después.
but he came out of Spain. That's understandable.
Henry.
And para su retiro. Para su
Yeah,
retiro.
I think Henry just was there
For
si acaso,
retiro.
suplente, por suplente,
Right, and that
por
was
si
just
acaso.
to continue to empower Messi at that point.
You know.
Same thing with Ibrahimovic. Like, they tried to, like, bring un poste, like you're saying, to, like, for them not to worry about Messi.
Ah, pero Ibrahimovic no era un poste, él sí jugaba.
My point exactly, create a diversion for the main player.
¿Y cómo lo fue con Ibrahimovic? Ahí sí rompió vestidor, ¿eh? Ahí sí hubo, ahí sí, ¿eh?
He did with him. Sure.
Y dime Mourinho con quién no se lleva bien.
What do you mean? Chelsea's
locker
room. Chelsea's locker room that second time. Pogba. Yeah. Yo, he hates Pogba so bad.
Pogba es un niño. Dime,
No,
cuando solo jugó con el Juventus una temporada buena y dime otra.
I know. It's sad. Sad story. Bring him to Sevilla. He could do wonders. Oh no.
Bueno,
you think if he goes back to La Liga, he rips it?
Who?
Pep.
With Barca, or are you just talking about in general?
I think that he's only meant for Barcelona. Yeah, for this.
I think even that is that too. I think he was only meant for that Barcelona that we saw.
Yeah.
Because again, like, you don't get players like Xavi and Iniesta that play in the middle together, and that alone, and then you throw Busquets in there. It's just
and Messi on the out.
And Messi, like you got.
I think even with Man City, I think Man City can buy Messi and he still won't win the Champions League with Man City.
Well, they were trying to, right?
That's what the goal was.
I heard they wanted Cristiano too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Cristiano, yes, that.
But that's because they're missing a 9, and they're still missing a 9, and they're not gonna. But the thing that they're saying is that, and I know that both me and you were talking about this. What's his name? Is it Julian, the Uruguayan, the one that's the forward?
Argentino.
Is it Argentino or okay? So
Julian Alvarez.
What is it?
Julian Alvarez.
Julian Alvarez. Yeah. So that's he's Dike, a forward, but he's not a forward. And that he has different aspects that can make him not be such a straight forward. So that's why they like him. So that's a sneaky buy that you guys will probably see in another year or two. So remember that name. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think they play with a 9, but then he needs a 9, so I don't know. It's
Holland.
weird to differentiate him.
That's the other thing.
Benzema, we'll bring Benzema over. He'll play that false
Benzema.
forward. Oh my goodness.
You didn't say your favorite team porque tú eres el que estamos esperando. Ya para
Oh my
cerrar.
god. Favorite teams. But yes, obviously with Barca, I think they were one of my favorite teams, especially when they were under Guardiola. And I think that last season of Ronaldinho and then Messi being presented in a weird way, kind of that special, like, here's your future. I think that one was good. For other aspects, out of the Mexican Soccer League, like, I liked seeing not only Pumas when Hugo Sanchez had it, but I think that the era of like Toluca when they had Cardoso as a forward, I think that's one of the ones like I remember the most. And like talking about him, Ciña, one of those type of players that just you don't see anymore. So yeah, Cuauhtémoc Blanco as well. But yeah, I think that out of those three teams are just different. They were just different at those eras, those times. Those are teams I grew up with looking at. So I was never a Chivas fan too. They're just awesome. It's just weird and awesome at the same time because they've been on such a down spiral. But what can you do?
Bueno, pues I think we pretty much covered everything. Ya, pues ya casi vamos a 2 horas. Went by quick, no?
Well, happy birthday. I don't think anyone.
I know.
Feliz cumpleaños, bro, to another
Gracias.
one.
Right at the end. I think before we
Con un té.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, man. Yeah.
Water.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being on. I know maybe sometimes no todos quieren estar, but juntamos a los que tenían que estar, no? We still were missing a few, but
And Raul, because he fell off.
Yeah, because his connection. Ya sabemos que las conexiones a veces, but I think we had a good time, a good little debate con Saúl como siempre, no? And thank you guys again. And
when are we doing this one again? We're talking about goats of all sports now.
Cuando we gotta get Steven on.
No, Steven's just soccer. Forget that.
The AC Milan talking.
We gotta get Steven. We gotta get Richie. We gotta get the el equipo de FIFA. Para no decir el nombre, ¿no?
I'm telling you should have done this like just as we play FIFA 22.
Yeah, for real. Hubiera sido más rating, ¿no?
Just do one, just do one for like a couple of games.
Watch us get dominated by a 10th division team. None of us know how to play FIFA now anymore.
Yeah, I know. Ya estamos retirados.
All the viewers are gonna be like, "Oh, so that's Luis."
Yeah.
Holy Jesus. Okay. They're like, "Oh, el entrenador ahí, miren, that's Mourinho right there."
Tu poster right here.
Yeah. No, well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being on, and hopefully we see each other again soon también. And
if you want me to get on the Saúl skin, let me know. I'll be on.
That's easy.
Saúl,
especially if he's drinking.
Saúl, nos vemos on Thursday.
Thursday,
la misma hora.
Thursday, we'll be talking about La Liga Mexicana. I think where we're standing. I think the final thoughts on this last Mexico stuff. Que nos dejó la jornada and all that stuff as well. Any news? I heard Chucky was nominated the best nomination for like the CONCACAF player of the year or something like that.
Eso, eh? Ya lo no le gustó eso.
I know. We should just say Pescadito was last CONCACAF. So I don't know. We'll see what we can have a discussion, but definitely some good topics there.
Para todos mis amigos. The fish. Bueno,
Pescadito.
Vic, thank you for being on.
Yes, sir.
Álvaro.
Thank you.
Saúl. Y
Hasta
nos vemos
luego.
todos.
Muchas
Gracias.